Okay, let's get into this. For this deep dive, we are tackling one of the most fundamental decisions anyone in business has to make.
How you set your price?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And specifically, we're going to dissect what I think is the biggest psychological error,
Hmm.
the one that keeps really great people, experts, from building serious wealth.
And that error is confusing effort with value. It's this idea we're all sort of conditioned to believe.
Yeah, that money comes from sweat, right?
Right. Or from time or struggle. If it was easy for you, you feel like you didn't really earn it. So our mission today is to just completely dismantle that idea. We call it the effort trap.
The effort trap, I like that.
And then show you exactly how to shift over to a value-based pricing mindset, because that really is the only path.
And to kick things off, we have to start with, I think, the most classic story for this topic. The one that just instantly flips the script on what you're paying for.
The locksmith.
The locksmith and the $100 click.
It is the perfect lesson. So imagine you're the client, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You've locked your keys in your car. Your whole day is basically ruined.
Oh, it's the worst feeling. You're stressed, probably late for something.
Exactly. Stranded. So you call a locksmith. He shows up, pulls out this thin little tool, slides it into the door, and then you hear that little click.
And the door's open.
The car is open. The entire thing, from start to finish, took 120 seconds. 2 minutes.
And that feeling of relief is just, I mean, it's immediate.
It is. But then the locksmith turns to you and says, that'll be $100.
And that's where the mood changes.
Instantly. That relief just evaporates and it turns into shock and then anger. Because the client, he's not looking at the solution anymore. He's looking at the clock.
He's doing the math in his head.
She's doing the math. $100 for 2 minutes. He's thinking that's what, like $3,000 an hour? So he gets furious, says, no way, I'm not paying that. You are here for 2 minutes.
And this, right here, this is the moment. It's the key for every expert listening. Because what the locksmith says next it changes the whole framework of value.
He had to teach him the lesson right then and there. So he smiles, and then, this is the best part, he just slams the car door shut again. Locks it.
No way.
He says, you are absolutely right. The unlocking of the door, that's free.
I see where this is going.
And then he delivers the final line, which is really the core message of this whole deep dive.
What's the line?
Knowing where to put the tool and having the expertise to fix your intense problem instantly, that costs $100.
Wow.
The fee wasn't for the minutes he spent there. It was a charge for the years of skill, the special tools, the reliability. Everything that let him make a huge problem just disappear.
So let's talk about that culture then. The one that programs us to think just like that angry client.
Yeah.
We're taught that money comes from, sweat equity. And if you solve something too fast or too easily, we feel guilty. We actually sabotage ourselves and charge less because we're afraid people will say no.
That cultural conditioning is so powerful, and it forces almost everyone by default into what we call cost plus pricing.
Okay, define that.
If you're using that model, you're calculating your price based on your internal costs. So that's my time plus my materials plus a little bit of profit on top.
And the business books are pretty clear on this. They call that the poverty mindset. It sounds harsh, but...
It is harsh, but it's true. If your price is always anchored to what you do and how long you spend, you're putting a permanent cap on what you can earn.
So why do people stick with it?
Well, a couple of reasons. It feels transparent and it feels safe. It's easy to say, well, I spent 10 hours on this, so I charge 10 times my rate. But that transparency is a trap.
Right.
The truly successful businesses, the wealthy mindset, they operate on value-based pricing. They could not care less about your internal costs.
So they focus on...
The external value. What is the result actually worth to the customer? Are you reducing their risk? Increasing their revenue? Is it an emotional transformation? That's the focus.
That distinction is just... It's huge. Internal cost versus external value.
Yeah.
And to really drive this home, let's talk about the Picasso napkin story.
Yes. The ultimate example.
It's the best illustration of valuing expertise over just duration.
So the story goes, Picasso's sitting in a cafe in Paris. A woman recognizes him, comes over with a napkin and asks if he'd sketch something for her. Says she'll pay whatever he thinks is fair.
Okay.
So he takes a pencil and just in a flash, less than a minute, he sketches this goat on the napkin. He hands it to her and says the price is $10,000.
And here we go.
Exactly. Cue the outrage. The woman is just floored. $10,000. But that only took you 30 seconds.
She saw the time, not the journey.
She only saw the time. And I love his response because it's just so perfect. He doesn't even hesitate.
What does he say?
He looks her right in the eye and says, No, madam. It took me 40 years to learn how to do that in 30 seconds.
Wow.
You are not paying for the minutes. You're paying for the 4 decades of mastery, the thousands of failed drawings, the discipline. All of that condensed into one single valuable moment. The 30 seconds is just the delivery.
So if we accept that principle, that what we're selling is stored value, it leads us to this, well, this kind of absurd idea in the next section.
The penalty for proficiency.
Yeah, this perverse incentive of charging by the hour if you're a true expert.
And it really is insane when you think about it. I mean, take any high-level professional. A coder, a surgeon, a consultant who fixes huge problems. Their whole career goal is to get better.
Faster, more efficient.
Exactly. But if you charge by the hour, the second you get more effective, you get penalized.
You literally cut your own income. If a task that used to take you 10 hours now takes you 5. You just halved your paycheck.
You are charging less for being better at your job. It's just bonkers.
So you're forcing skilled people to, what, slow down on purpose just to make a living.
Which is why the sources are so blunt. They just say, that is insane. It means you have to make a complete shift. You have to stop selling time, which punishes speed.
And start selling outcomes.
Exactly. Outcomes are valuable no matter how long they took to achieve.
But I can hear what someone listening is thinking right now. You know, if I charge a client 10 grand for something that only took me 5 hours, aren't they just going to object?
They might.
They'll want an invoice that shows, 100 hours of work or something.
Doesn't hourly billing give the client some false sense of security?
It gives them transparency, sure, but for the wrong metric. The client thinks they want to see your time, but what they actually want is a guaranteed result.
So our job is to shift their focus.
Completely. Shift their focus off the clock and onto the change you're providing. Because if the outcome is what they want, the time it takes you becomes, well, totally irrelevant. We have to anchor the price to the result, not the process. Okay, so that brings us to the application.
Yeah.
Shifting that anchor.
Yeah.
How do we take this, this Picasso principle and actually apply it to a modern business? It's about valuing the result.
Over the process, yeah. And a great way to think about this is the migraine pill analogy.
Like it.
Let's say I have the worst migraine of my entire life. I'm sick, I can't see straight, I just can't function at all.
We've all been there, it's awful.
It's awful. And you hand me a pill that cures it. Instantly, the pain is gone, clarity is back. Am I, as the patient, going to stop and ask, hey, wait a minute, how long did it take to make this specific tablet?
Never. Not in a million years.
You don't care if it took 5 years of research or 5 seconds on a factory line. The value to you is the outcome. No more pain. You're functional again.
And you'd happily pay for that relief.
You'd happily pay $50, maybe $100 for that pill because the value of getting your life back far outweighs the cost.
Yeah.
The value is emotional, it's physical, it's immediate.
Okay, so let's translate that. How does this work in, say, a financial scenario? The web designer example is a good one.
Perfect example. The average designer, the cost-plus designer, charges an hourly rate for coding.
Right.
The value-based designer, on the other hand, focuses on ROI, return on investment.
So what does their pitch sound like?
The cost-plus person sells 40 hours of development and 10 hours of revisions. Their price is stuck to the clock. The value-based designer sells a fully optimized website that captures 5 times more leads and converts 10% more visitors into customers.
Okay. That's the key.
Yeah.
You have to quantify the problem you're solving. So if the client's old website was losing them, say, $100,000 a year in missed sales,
Then the designer frames their value based on that number. If they charge, say, $10,000 for the new site, and that site makes the client an extra $100,000.
the client just got a 10x return on their investment.
Exactly. Suddenly, that $10,000 fee doesn't seem expensive at all. It's a massive discount. And the time the designer spent coding is
Completely irrelevant to the deal.
utterly irrelevant.
So that means we have to start thinking more like the client's business partner, not just a service provider.
Absolutely. You have to ask questions that uncover the financial pain. The mistake is asking, what features do you want?
The right question is,
The right question is, how many qualified leads are you missing each month because of your current site? What's the average lifetime value of one of those customers? The answers to those questions, that's where you find the external value. And this leads us to, I think, the most practical part of this whole deep dive. You have to completely reverse the sales conversation.
right, if you adopt this mindset, you have to change how you talk to clients from the very first minute.
The mistake we see all the time, especially with newer freelancers or consultants, is they lead with their process. They try to justify their price by explaining how hard they're going to work.
The sweat equity again?
Yeah, the script sounds like, well, first I'll do A, then I'll do B, then I'll run these diagnostics, and I'll spend 4 hours on the code, and then we'll have a 90-minute call.
And the hard truth is, nobody cares.
Nobody cares about your process. The client just sees all that detail as a weak justification for a rate they already think is too high. Your process is your internal cost. They only care about their internal problems.
So the solution is to focus the entire conversation on their pain.
On their pain and the quantifiable value of making that pain go away, you have to make the client tell you what the problem is costing them.
Okay, so is there a specific question? Let's call it the pain quantification question.
It's simple, it's direct, and it changes everything. You just ask the client, what is it costing your business to have this problem right now?
And it shifts the anchor immediately.
Instantly. Let's say their messy system is costing them $5,000 a month in lost productivity. The client says that number out loud. They admit it.
Okay, they've named the cost of the problem.
So now, when you propose your fee, let's say it's a one-time fee of $5,000 to fix it permanently, you're not asking for money for your time.
You're framing it as an investment.
It's a no-brainer sale. You're saying, pay me $5,000 today, and I will eliminate your recurring $5,000 monthly loss forever. You've proven the value. You get a full ROI in 30 days.
You've anchored the price to their outcome, the $5,000 saved, not your effort, like the 5 hours it took you.
And that realization right there, that is worth so much more than whatever your hourly rate is. It's a total psychological reset.
It really is. You stop being just a vendor who bills for time.
And you start being a real partner who provides leverage and solves their foundational problems.
So what's the takeaway for you, for the person listening to this? I think the challenge is pretty immediate, right? Audit your pricing model. Now,
Yeah.
Are you the locksmith getting yelled at for being too fast?
The mandate is this. You have to find a way to anchor your price to the external value. The transformation, the financial impact, the solution, what the client gets. And you have to stop anchoring it to your internal costs.
Stop anchoring it to the hours you work or the tools you use.
Exactly. Think about the real leverage you provide. This isn't just for business consultants or web designers. Every single expert provides some kind of high, often unquantifiable value.
So let's do like an ultimate value audit. Push it beyond just dollars and cents for a second.
Yeah, let's think about the really high-stakes scenarios. If you're an expert, what's the true value of your outcome in these situations?
What is it worth? If you're a therapist who saves a marriage from the trauma and financial disaster of a divorce.
Right. Or what is it worth if you're a specialized lawyer and your advice helps a company avoid a lawsuit that could have shut them down?
Or maybe you're a personal trainer. What's it worth if you help someone lose 50 pounds, avoid a heart attack, and get their confidence back?
That kind of result, it's priceless. Your value isn't on your timesheet. It's in your ability to produce outcomes that radically change a client's life or business.
So you have to start asking what that solution is really worth to them.
And let that be your price.
Go out there, audit your pricing, and ask that pain quantification question. The knowledge you have is worth so much more than you think.
Charge accordingly.